reported today in The Verge. Everyone hates California's self-driving car reports. Every year, companies that operate self-driving cars in California are required to submit data to the state's Department of Motor Vehicles listing the number of miles driven and the frequency at which human safety drivers were forced to take control of their autonomous vehicles, also known as a disengagement. And every year, those same companies raise a huge stink about it. Waymo, which drove 1.45 million miles in California in 2019 and logged a disengagement rate of 0.076 per 1,000 self-driven miles, says the metric does not provide relevant insights into its technology. Cruise, which drove 831,040 miles last year and reported a disengagement rate of 0.082, says the idea that disengagements give a meaningful signal about whether an autonomous vehicle is ready for commercial deployment is a myth. Aurora, which only drove 13,429 miles and recorded a disengagement rate of 10.6 per 1,000 miles, calls them misguided. Autonomous vehicle, AV, companies can be a black box, with most firms keeping a tight lid on measurable metrics and only demonstrating their technology under the most controlled settings. That means the disengagement reports can feel like the only scrap of transparency on AV progress most of us get. The problems generally stem from trying to use the reports in ways they aren't designed to be used, to determine who's driven the most miles, who has the best disengagement rate, and who is generally furthest along in developing autonomous vehicles. Comparing disengagement rates between companies is worse than meaningless. It creates perverse incentives, said Bryant Walker-Smith, associate professor at the University of South Carolina's School of Law and an expert in self-driving cars. For instance, Smith says, if he were to register in California and never test, he'd look good. If I wanted to look even better, I'd do a ton of easy freeway miles in California and do my real testing anywhere else, he added. Disengagement reports aren't the best way to build trust and credibility in autonomous vehicles, Smith points out. Instead, releasing testing summaries with detail and context is better. But no company to date has done that. Most of the major players have submitted voluntary safety reports to the federal government as part of the Department of Transportation's voluntary guidance. Unfortunately, these safety reports usually are little more than slick marketing materials. As for the disengagement reports, they're effectively meaningless, said Sam Abul-Samad, senior analyst at Navigant. There are two big problems. Companies have a lot of discretion about when to disengage, and the testing environments aren't uniform. Inevitably, that means it's impossible to make an apples-to-apples comparison between companies. Abul-Samad would rather see. For more on this story, visit the news article link.